your energy forecast for Saturday, August 12th. So today we have the moon in her place of power in Cancer energy, which of course brings up all of the feels. We are very introverted. We're kind of reflecting on some thoughts, some ideas that we had over the last couple of days with the moon in Gemini. Now we're dropping it all down into the heart space. We have to mull over it. We have to kind of debate the pros and cons, allow our intuition to kind of lead us. And as I previously mentioned, there is a high probability that with the moon in Cancer energy, many of us will find the not so nice thoughts and feelings actually creep up within us. A little bit over emotional, overly sensitive, if you will. We could see little bouts of quote unquote depression, but that is just an indicator on where things aren't working, where your egoic self is tired of trying to keep up with the old roles, the old responsibilities, where it is that we need to pay attention to these hints and clues in order for us to understand where it is that we are lacking emotional support, safety, security, and of course, out of those realizations, we have an opportunity to provide ourselves with those things by building a better foundation in order to take care of ourselves, address our own needs, heal our own wounds without constantly looking outside of ourselves for someone to come and save us. Of course, this is also the day that all of those quote unquote Lionsgate 8-8 portal energies will actually be flowing in. Of course, nothing major happened on 8-8 because, of course, it was a non-existent, hyped up spiritual community, quote unquote, holiday portal. When realistically speaking, if we're talking about astrology, then the astrology would indicate that the 12th, today, is when those energies are going to blast in from the dog star Sirius, which is in its rise, which of course gives us this very potent energy that many people were sitting around waiting for around the 8-8, which, as I previously mentioned, was only the last quarter moon in Taurus energy. Now, there was no significant event registered on the Schumann Resonance for that particular day. I think it'll be very interesting to compare to see what happens here on the 12th and 13th, because of course the 12th is the day that we're expecting those very potent energies streaming in. And of course the 13th is Venus's resurrection. So we're definitely going to be paying attention to the influx of energies. And because the moon is in Cancer energy, we will likely feel very overwhelmed at times, feeling those energetic waves just crash upon us. So there are 10 different aspects taking place here today, and 7 of them are going to involve the moon. Venus, the goddess of love, beauty, worth, pleasure, and money, who is retrograde in Leo energy, the heart and soul of the zodiac, is in her final dark day. Now, does this mean that, tomorrow when she conjuncts the sun and she gets renewed and resurrected and reborn, that everything is just going to be tickety-boo in our lives? No. But what it does mean is that our attitudes are going to change. Our ideas are going to change. Our pivot point in our heart space is going to change. And we are going to be moving out of the, let's call it wimpy, complaining, exhausted, victimhood mentality, and we are going to rise up in the dark feminine energy that is going to position us to dig ourselves out of this dark pit, out of this dark hole. Venus is going to be making a positive interaction with Neptune. Neptune is retrograde in his place of power in Pisces energy, representing dreams, spirituality, healing, all of these lovely things. And the beautiful thing about this is that Neptune is actually the higher octave of Venus. Venus is the quote unquote portal that we are able to bring new ideas, new inspirations, new dreams, new visions into the physical body, percolate on how it is that we're going to bring them to life, and actually create them, bring them to life in form here in this physical realm. But those ideas, that dream, that vision, all comes from the Neptune energy. Neptune energy doesn't have form. It is everything and nothing at the same time. Venus is the vessel, if you will, that aligns the higher levels of intellect, the higher levels of inspiration, of potential possibilities. Venus brings it to life. She brings it into form. She is the portal between those realms and this earthly realm. So to have Venus interacting with Neptune in this way, first of all, is prepping her for her rebirth. She's kind of renewing her soul and her spirit. She's picking herself up. She's drying herself off. She's dusting the dirt off of her shoulder from sitting in this dark pit. What we're doing here is we're trying to kind of get our spirit, our soul in alignment with this energy that we're about to tap into that is going to manifest in our physical form to have us kind of change our mind, our heart space, really provide us with the pivotal point where we are no longer sitting around waiting for somebody to come save us, and we are essentially going to boss up and save ourselves. So this is I'm going to say a refinement point in Venus's journey, because of course she's still going to be retrograde. We still have some time, definitely moving into September, before we're actually going to be able to take the forward movement to kind of, get things going in the right direction. But where she is this kind of halfway point, she's now emerging as a morning star. This is, again, pivot in attitude, pivot in mood, pivot in just understanding that we're going to have to be the ones to dig ourselves out of this pit. And as we're doing that, we are really embodying more of that feminine warrior type of spirit, which means that we're more aggressively straightforward and direct on cutting things and people off if we decide that they're not supporting our happiness, our pleasure, our joy, our safety, our security, our stability in life. So this is definitely going to instill us with a different vibration. And you might not be able to put your finger on it. You might not be able to articulate what is coming into the highest form of your mental plane and where it is that you are feeling these sudden shifts, these sudden changes, but you will. So just pay attention to where the attitude, the mood, the vision is changing. The moon in Cancer is going to semi-square, creating a little bit of a tension point with the sun, who of course is in his place of power in Leo energy. Now, the moon represents the past, especially in Cancer energy. We're overly attached to the past. We're actually romanticizing the past. We're very nostalgic because the Cancer energy would really like to stick to what is tried, tested, and true, what is familiar, what is comfortable. Even if we are staying in an uncomfortable situation, there is a comfort of it being familiar, of it being predictable. So we are overly attached to the old, to the past. And we are kind of, I'm going to say, painting past situations and circumstances in better colors than they were actually originally painted in. And that can do a couple of things for us. First of all, it can give us the safety, security, the stability that we need in order to feel like we are in a safe place to really process our thoughts and our emotions. And it's also giving us one last hurrah to kind of reflect back on how it is that we've gotten here, because things are about to change in some major ways. Now, the sun is shining a bright light on where it is that we need to go. And where it is that we need to go in this Leo energy is we need to go to the real, raw, most vulnerable and authentic place within ourselves. We have to be bold. We have to be brave. We have to be courageous to stand in this new truth, this new version of self, this new mission, this new purpose. Are we there yet? Do we understand what the details are? Absolutely not. But we're building in the energies in preparation to take action when these puzzle pieces start snapping together. So the moon and the sun coming together in this way is kind of giving us a tug of war in ourselves. Emotionally speaking, we're very connected to the old, very connected to the past, really not in the position where we are mind, body, soul aligned to change. Yet the sun in Leo energy is prepping and priming us for the big changes that are just around the corner. And of course, returning us to our real, raw, most authentic self. The moon in Cancer is going to make a positive interaction with Mercury, ruler of the mental plane, ruler of information communication and how it is that we truly express ourselves, who happens to be in his place of power in this Virgo energy, really looking to fix, to heal, to solve, to resolve some of the issues that we are identifying, not only in our physical realm, that are blocking us, also in our heart space, in our head space. Now keep in mind, Mercury is in his pre-retrograde shadow period. We will see the retrograde take place on the 23rd. So things are starting to slow down a little bit. We are, I'm going to say, able to kind of hone in on a particular topic, theme, area of our life that just is a little bit crazy and chaotic, because of course the Virgo energy is here to create order. where there is chaos. So we have our heart space, the moon, and our head space, Mercury, working very well together. And the Virgo energy that Mercury is in is helping to examine the finer details of the memories that the moon in Cancer is focused on bringing up, being kind of nostalgic over, and really kind of seeing, sorting out, if you will, what's going to stay, what's going to go. Again, there's this little, I'm going to say, fantasy type of energy that we get when the moon first moves into Cancer energy, because we're looking back and we're, again, romanticizing the past in a way that it never occurred. And we need that hope, that inspiration, that dream to kind of make us feel settled and make us kind of bring that to a completion point before we start new again. So this is going to be an indicator that there is some sort of agreement between our heart and our head, and Mercury being in this Virgo energy, analyzing the F out of the smaller details, the smaller memories, the smaller aha moments that the moon in Cancer has us overly attached to. The moon will then trine, beautiful energy, with Saturn, the Lord of Karma, who rules over roles and responsibilities, systems, structures, foundations, who is currently retrograde in this Pisces energy, really deconstructing our old ways of doing things, old memories, old pain, old trauma, old beliefs, old dreams, old visions, in order for us to kind of build something new. And emotionally speaking, interacting with Saturn always kind of brings us down a couple of pegs. He's a little bit of a reality checker, if you will. But this is a trine because, of course, the Cancer energy is a water sign. Pisces energy is a water sign. Water on water. What do we know about water on water? Well, first of all, it's very cleansing. It's very healing, very transformative. It's the only element that can take on all three states, liquid, gas, and solid. And that is how we emotionally refine what's going on in our inner realm. So although there is a little bit of a serious, somber perspective on what it is that we're moving away from and what it is that we desire to move to, a trine means that this is a gentle nudge. This is like a peaceful acceptance that we are moving away from old chapters and we are preparing ourselves to dive into new ones. The moon is then going to semi-square, a little bit of a tension, a little bit of a conflict with both Venus and then shortly after Uranus. So what we're going to get here is, first of all, the moon interacting with Venus, who is retrograde in this Leo energy, preparing for her rebirth taking place on the 13th. We're really starting to question what it is that we are lacking. Okay, so we want to focus on the emotions of our, I'm going to say, version of self, because we are closing the door on who it is that we had to be in order to step into who it is that we now are and who it is that we desire to be and who it is that we're required to become in order to reach the next level of vibration and frequency that, of course, is going to attract the vision and the dream that we're now looking to manifest. The moon interacting with Venus in this way is going to kind of show us where it is that we're not feeling so hot, we're not feeling so sure, we're not feeling so certain about a couple of things, which is A-okay, because we're still in the process of elimination, if you will, with Venus trying to sort out who and what needs to stay and needs to go. But this is going to illuminate for us where it is that we are having some emotions that we just don't want to experience anymore. And from realizing who or what is triggering and activating those particular heavier emotions that we have no desire to experience, that is going to lead us into a realization on what needs to change or who needs to go, let's say. Now, the follow-up with the semi-square with Uranus shortly after, Uranus, of course, is the great awakener. He likes to shock us. He likes to throw wild card energies at us where unexpected events can just come out of the woodwork with information and details that open up our mind, really shift our understanding and perspective. And of course, Uranus is in this Taurus energy, which is a fixed earth sign, which is going to illuminate where it is that we're overly attached and maybe hella resistant to some of the changes that we know that we need to make, especially to our physical lives, our physical realms. We're taking care of ourselves, where our routines, where our relationships, where our money matters, where our long-term goals are concerned. Now, normally speaking, if this was a positive interaction, we would be gaining some sort of insight, some kind of aha moment, some kind of epiphany, and that's going to change the game. Because this is a semi-square and we're creating tension and conflict in order to realize where change is needed the most, this is going to make us feel, I'm going to say, a little bit distant, a little bit cold, a little bit rigid, a little bit more confused than normal. Again, we have to sit in confusion before the clarity comes. We have to have a breakdown before the breakthrough. And this is a true indicator of that. This is going to get us all riled up, if you will. Kind of give us some anxiety, maybe some anticipation of what is to come, not feeling so good about knowing that we are moving into a phase where there are going to be major changes and none of us know what that is going to entail, which can trigger and activate a lot of fears, doubts, and insecurities within us. The positive thing is that the moon shortly thereafter goes ahead and makes a positive interaction with Mars. Mars is the god of war. He rules over our physical energy, our drive, our passion, our desire, even our anger. Mars is in Virgo energy, looking to really fix and heal and solve some of the problems that we're identifying that, of course, we have to take our time to sort through, analyze right to death because of the Virgo energy, focus in on the problem, come up with a solution, and then engage the physical form in order to take action to really rearrange and reorganize whatever physical element we've identified needs to go, needs to change, needs to morph, needs to transform. This is a positive interaction. This means that emotionally speaking, we are inspired, we are motivated, we are pushing ourselves to be prepared for these changes. We are hyping ourselves up. We are recognizing where it is that we've done the work to grow, to heal, to improve our situation. Granted, a lot of these improvements will not be visibly seen in our physical realm for quite some time. The change needs to happen within us first. With all of these planets still in a retrograde, we're not going to see a forward action, a forward resolution until some of these planets start going direct. But the inner realm is what we are focused on, what it is that we need to refine. And this particular interaction is going to put some pep in our step, really kind of push us into a warrior type of spirit and attitude, and make us a little bit more available to think about moving forward futuristically, when realistically the moon in Cancer wants us to continue to look back. So this is a baby step and improvement to even get us to the emotional state of mind, state of being, to orient ourselves away from being overly attached to the past, especially where old memories, old constructs, old dynamics are concerned, in order for us to kind of hype ourselves up for the possibilities of what is to come. Shortly thereafter, the moon is going to interact with the North Node in Aries energy. And of course, we are still adjusting to this particular energy. The North Node is the path that we all need to get on in order to reach our soul's mission, our soul's potential. And this North Node in Aries energy is pushing us to do what is right for ourselves first and foremost, to really stand very strongly in ourselves, in our truth, in our mission, in our purpose, and who it is that we now are, in our story. And for many of us, this has been a very hard thing to do because we've been so caught up being concerned about what other people are going to think about it, what other people are going to say about it. This is a time where, again, over the next 18 months, we are going to have to detach ourselves from caring so much about other people's thoughts, opinions, and points of view in order for us to pour into ourselves. So the moon interacting with the North Node in this way is showing us where there is an opportunity to move forward, where we are kind of comfortable enough to leave the past behind in order to make some changes, where it is that we are identifying what we need to do in order to take better care of ourselves, really nurture ourselves, save ourselves in a lot of ways. This comes at a perfect time because the sun in Leo energy is going to trine, beautiful interaction, with Chiron, the wounded healer, who is retrograde in Aries energy, giving us a full stop view on what the problems are, especially within ourselves and our mental health, in our heart space, in us really feeling maybe like imposter syndromes with the new identities that we're trying to take on. We are really just changing and morphing at a very rapid speed. And again, please do not look at your physical realm for those particular indicators, because you will see that nothing really has changed when essentially all the change is happening within us, within our energy, within our soul self. So this particular interaction is putting a huge spotlight, again, the sun, on where it is that we are growing, where we're healing, where we're improving, where we're anxious to get the party started, where we want to learn new ways of doing things, where we want to improve certain sections of our lives, where it is that we are stepping into a new realm, a new reality of creation, where we do have a new truth, where we do have a new mission, where we do have a new purpose. So again, please do not expect that this is just going to be downloaded and fully articulated and understood within you. This is something that gets triggered and activated as a puzzle piece that will slowly but surely come together. So if you go to bed by the end of the day and you don't have a new truth, a new mission, new purpose, you didn't fail, you're not unaligned, you just have high expectations, an unrealistic expectation on how astrology and energy works. This is just, again, I'm going to give you the analogy of cracking the code to a safe. We've been twisting this, knob back and forth, waiting for the click, click. We finally just tried the handle after many failed attempts, and the door is actually releasing, which means that we've cracked the code. We haven't opened the door yet. We haven't seen what's inside the safe. We're just cracking the code. So this should give us a little bit of a boost in our confidence, in our faith, in our trust, in the process, in ourselves. This should shine a bright light on where it is that we do have to take better care of ourselves. And disclaimer, a lot of the times the realizations that we come up with, such as where should I be taking better care of myself, comes out of hitting rock bottom, feeling like you're not taking care of yourself. Maybe you're sick, maybe you're struggling with pain, where it is that you're just overall not doing what you know you should be doing. This is a realization to push us into our real, raw, authentic selves, again, Leo energy, in order for us to realize where we have to heal the wounds, again, Chiron energy, that are constantly keeping us from going forward, from holding us back, from really keeping us in a state of pain and trauma. So this should kind of boost us, give us a quick little swift kick in the butt here in order to see what it is that we need to do better. The last aspect that we have here today is Venus, the goddess of love, beauty, work, pleasure, money, who is retrograde. Again, reflection, review, kind of sorting out the pros and cons, who and what needs to stay, needs to go, with Mars. Mars is the god of war. He rules over our physical energy, our drive, our passion, our desires, even our anger. He's in Virgo energy, looking to fix, looking to heal. Okay, so Venus, feminine divine energy. Mars, masculine divine energy. Coming together in a way that is going to identify where it is that we have to rebalance the scales of both the masculine and feminine energies within us in order to understand where it is that we have to tap into the masculine energy, which is assertive and aggressive and takes action and puts us in a situation of really kind of putting ourselves first, doing what we have to do in order to survive, which comes at no better time considering the fact that Venus is about to be resurrected, reborn. She is about to get up off of her butt, wipe herself off from the dirt in which she's accumulated, crying at the bottom of this pit, waiting for somebody to come save her. She's been too receptive, too fluid, too all up in her emotions. So this is the point in time where the feminine energy needs to kind of take a step back. We have to tap into the masculine energy in order to get our asses in gear to get out of this dark pit. The Virgo energy that Mars is in is saying, okay, girl, we know how to fix this, but you got to get up. You got to dust yourself off. You got to give yourself a pep talk, because you and only you are going to be the one to get yourself out of this dark hole. So this particular interaction is going to be a activator, if you will, on where it is that we're hesitant to boss up, to take control, to be a little bit more straightforward and direct, to almost bully ourselves into getting up, dusting ourselves off, and getting ourselves to be our own heroes. So again, this is coming at a very, very interesting time, seeing as Venus is about to be reborn.